Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. My name's Josh and in today's video I'm going to be talking you through my top tips for saving you money on your home renovations. So renovating your home is an exciting time for everybody and especially if you're a first time buyer. However, unfortunately, it can be a very expensive thing to do. And to make things worse, not only do you have the cost of goods and the cost of tradesmen, which have increased massively, since COVID and with the inflation and cost of living crisis and things like this, but making those wrong decisions with your renovations and refurb can also cost you thousands in the long term if you make the wrong decisions. But before we jump into the list, if you're watching this video, if you watched other videos on my channel and you are not subscribed, please make sure you do. I'm putting out really good content at the moment, and according to YouTube, only around a quarter of viewers are subscribed to the channel. So yeah, if you're sitting there, you're really liking the content, you're really enjoying the video, and you're not subscribed, please make sure you do. It really helps me out. And now let's jump into the list. So the first tip on my list is that we need to plan and budget wisely for our home renovation. Now, you know I love a good budget and I love a good financial plan. And what's so great about this tip is that it starts even before you purchase the property. So if you're looking at properties and they require modernisation, as the estate agents like to call it, and you know that this home needs 20 or 30 grand's worth of renovations to bring it up to your standard, make sure you reflect that in your offer purchase price. So then you can save the money there, so when you do get the keys, you can jump straight into the renovation and you're not living on a building site whilst you're doing the house up, for an extended period of time. Trust me on this, I've lived in properties before where I've been renovating them at the same time. I live in that building site, for like 9 or 12 months. And let me tell you, the novelty wears off very quickly. So this is something we want to avoid. And we can start the process as quickly as possible. So the second tip on my list is that we need to be doing as much DIY as possible throughout the home renovation process. This might be a bit daunting for some people who've never done DIY before. You may not be the most handiest person, you've never done it before, but let me tell you guys, I'm not joking when I say I had literally zero DIY skills prior to my first property purchase in October 2021. And since then I've learned so much and I feel so confident about my abilities that it's getting to the point where I don't really feel like I need to pay tradesmen anymore. And with the help of YouTube videos and taking advice from staff in hardware shops, I really believe that anybody can learn how to DIY. And I have 3 things in particular which I think any novice can do because I learned how to do them from absolute scratch. The first one is laminate flooring. This looks great in any property. It's really hard wearing and it can save you a lot of money in the long term. This is just taking your time, making sure the boards fit together, that the instructions come on the packet. It's really easy. It just looks daunting, but when you break it down, it's quite simple. Secondly is painting, especially if you're just painting your room white. This literally takes zero skill. It's literally just a matter of fact of just putting the paint on the roller or the brush and painting the wall white. I think painting in particular, please do not go and pay a tradesman to paint any of your walls white or paint your ceilings white. It's such a waste of money. And thirdly, it's tiling. Again, this might sound the most daunting out of the 3, but if you break it down, you're literally just gluing a tile to a wall with a bit of tile cement, and it's honestly not that hard once you get used to it and if you take your time. The third tip on my list is that when you need to, make sure you hire a reputable contractor. So it goes out saying that some of the jobs, some of the DIY in your home renovations, you won't be able to do yourself. The electrics, the plumbing, anything with sort of like a safety aspect to it, I really recommend getting a professional to do it, especially if it's a rental property, because you need the relevant safety certificates to represent that the work's been done by a professional. I think when it comes to tradesmen and contractors, I don't think they're the most transparent. I think some people can be a bit worried that they're getting ripped off. And to avoid this, like what I suggest and what I personally do is that I get multiple quotes for each trade's job. So basically, if I know that I need some electrics work, I'll go on websites like Check a Trade or ask family and friends for any recommendations. Then I usually get 3 quotes, so a quote from 3 different contractors, which usually gives me like a ballpark estimate of how much the job is going to cost. And then I make my decision based on the reputation of the contractor and also their availability as well. And an additional piece of secret advice is that tradesmen are sometimes very lazy. So this is what I do as well, and I've always found it very effective in reducing the price of the quote from tradesmen, is ask them what the price of the job would be if you removed away some of the rubbish. So let's just say that you're having a new garden landscaped or something like that. Ask them for the full quote, but then also ask them for a revised quote if you was to remove, the garden waste and the rubbish yourselves. Additionally, if you have any new kitchen fitted, get the initial quote of the full installation, but then get a revised quote if you agree to physically build the kitchen cupboards themselves, and then you just want the tradesman or the joiner just to hang them and finish it all off. The fourth tip on my list is to make sure you are reusing and repurposing any old materials as much as possible. And what I mean by this, like in your previous property, take as much as you can to your new property, which you think will save you money. Is there any old kitchen cupboards that or bedside cabinets that can be reused, repurposed, give it a quick sand down, a quick paint, and you can turn it into something unique for your new home. Additionally, make sure you are checking websites like Gumtree and Facebook Marketplace, as you will not believe the high quality of things people give away for free. Something I always find is like solid oak furniture, which literally just needs a quick sand down and a quick paint, and you've got something new for your new home, and you've saved all that money. And this tip is especially useful for landlords who are trying to furnish their new properties for tenants on the cheap. The fifth tip on my list is to make sure you are shopping around for deals and get as much a discount as possible. So big DIY retailers like B&Q, Screwfix, Wix, that sort of thing, they regularly have promotions and offers on throughout the year, which can save you hundreds if not thousands of pounds if done correctly. For example, quite recently B&Q had a 3 for 2 offer on all floorings, which I made use of and renovated one of my properties, and I saved myself a couple hundred there. And these offers change throughout the year, so I know they do like a 3 for 2 on paint as well, which can also save you a lot of money. And then when you get to point of purchase, see if there are any additional discounts available. And this works because stores like B&Q, Screwfix, loads of all the sort of like hardware and retail stores, they have discounts available depending on what type of customer you are. So these stores will sometimes give tradesmen 5% or 10% off to encourage them to spend when they do their jobs. However, if you're not a tradesman and you're just a regular customer, if you get to the till and you're very friendly and very polite with the staff, there's no reason you can't benefit from that discount also. The final tip on my list is that we need to avoid over customization as much as possible. So customizing your home, it sounds like a really, really good idea. Everybody wants to put their own individual touch on their property. However, if done incorrectly, you can actually lose a lot of value of your home in the long term. One thing that we can do to avoid over customization is by choosing a neutral color palette when decorating the property. So try to avoid really, really niche colours, your pink bathrooms, your pink kitchen units, that sort of thing. That isn't really going to appeal to a wide range of buyers. It might appeal to yourself right now in the short term, and that's fine if that's what you really, really want to do. But in the long term, when you come to sell that property, buyers are going to be slightly put off, and they're going to knock down their offer price based on the cost of renovating and replacing those pink units that you've installed, or repainting the pink walls. Other things that tend to cost money in the long term and aren't really worth that initial investment are things like downstairs bathrooms that have a bath and shower. People don't really tend to like that. Swimming pools, like having a swimming pool in your back garden, it sounds like a really, really good idea. It's really fun for a couple of weeks in the summer, but throughout the majority of the year it's just not going to get used, and potential buyers are put off due to the high running costs over the space of the year. Additionally, removing your garage can also negatively affect your house's value depending on what you do with the space afterwards. And also things like really high-end kitchen appliances. Again, these are really, really big outlays and big initial costs, which aren't likely to recoup the value when you come to sell the house in the future. So that is it for my list of top tips to save you money on your home renovations. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you learned a thing or two. I want to hear what you guys think. Are you doing any tips on the list already and saving yourself money? Or are you doing another tip, that's not covered? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, I want to hear any funny stories. Have you ever gone to a house viewing and spotted that pink bathroom or spotted those pink kitchen units and been totally put off? Let me know in the comments down below. Any questions, leave them there also, and I'll see you next time.